Hello,
Hi Ramya, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good evening. Okay, nice. Hi,
Good
hi.
evening. Good evening, Ramya. How are
Lovely
you doing?
faces. I'm doing well. Nice to see some familiar faces here. Okay, people, turn on your videos. Let's start. Um, so I'm just, yeah, do turn your videos on because that's going to help me actually, cater to the session better. And lovely. Okay, so Shailesh is here. We'll start with your questions. Thank you for your 3 questions. So, what we'll do is we'll start with the questions that have been sent on WhatsApp, and then we'll move on to further questions that people might have, right? So, Shailesh, thank you for sending those questions. Great questions. I'm just going to open them up one by one because there were 3. Um yeah, so the first one, the real world situation, people face financial, organizational, societal constraints that prevent them from instantly redesigning their careers. How can individuals meaningfully harness their natural strengths given such constraints? So, this is a lovely question. And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you why I love this. You've used the word constraints twice. And I'm going to actually spend some time talking about this because earlier in my own life, as a profession, as a career coach, okay, am I audible? Just making sure. Because, okay, great. I used to also think of constraints as not a bad thing, but something that's limiting and all. And true, that is the definition of constraints. But over the years, what I've begun to appreciate that all constraints, they're actually blessings in disguise as well. And this very idea of crafting, it's not like what some one of my colleagues calls a plunge, right? That you leave everything you're doing and suddenly do another thing. Not that there's anything wrong in it at all. That's one approach. It works for some people. It's a great way of making change happen. But the very idea of crafting means you're doing it slowly, right? So you can do it as slowly as you want or as fast as you want. So there's an entire spectrum. So you can craft within your role within an organization, or you can craft outside of your role, changing roles and all within an organization, right? You can change your careers and you can redesign a new one, and this is a spectrum. So the first thing about the crafting approach is it allows you to choose your pace. There's no right, there's no wrong. Go with what works for you. And I'm going to tie this in with your third question about courage and awareness. Great. Yes, you need both of those. That was your third question as well, right? Courage and awareness. Yeah. And I'll admit it, I am a very gentle crafter. I don't make huge changes. I've always been, trying one thing out. I have something else that has worked that I keep on the back burner. I keep it as a hedge. That's why I do a portfolio career. So I take a fairly risk averse approach and allow the new things that I do to grow on me, to grow with me, to build to prototype, see the success, and then go. That's my way. And that's going with my risk appetite, my whatever, circumstances and the way I want to approach. And you can tailor it. So that's the first thing. So it doesn't have to be instant and you can tailor it. And coming back to the thing on constraints, so my husband does research on creativity and innovation. And it's really through it. Of course, we talk a lot about his work. And through dialoguing with him, I've come to see constraints in a very different way. Because if you don't have constraints, we actually can't get creative. We can't innovate. Do you get it right? So all the constraints in our life are serving a very, very, very valuable purpose. They actually allow us to craft our lives in more, so we sit down, we question, okay, within this constraint, what do I want to do? Doesn't mean you have to accept everything, but that's what gives imagine if you're always in an open field and you could do everything, then you're lost. So start looking at constraints like that. That would be my thing. Okay. Just there was a third question you asked, I think question 1 and 3. Yeah. Question 2. So I'm not a genius. So the question too was, is it real for geniuses like you? And no, so none of these people for whom crafting works, again, like I told you, it's not about being a genius because there's an entire spectrum available. It's really about making it work for a level that works for you. And I'm just going to pull out one of the slides that was in the TED Talk to add what else we can use for crafting our career. Okay, so just tell me, is this, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the inside out career crafting approach actually has many different modules to it. So, for example, Hariharan and Pratibha, I can see them here, and they've done the Career Alchemy program, and it's an online program. And I've just left it at 90% off completely. Permanently, I put it on that. And the reason I've done that is because I don't have bandwidth for private coaching. So you're most welcome to do that. Or I've written a book. Again, the book covers these 10 modules and more. And the reason I'm talking about this is because leveraging your unique differences is just one aspect, right? Other than that, there are more things that you can do. So for example, if you look at number 6, navigating failure, setbacks, and crisis. So there's a lot. So you mentioned courage, right? So there are lots of mental reframes and practices here that can help build that inner courage. And I don't think I've put it here, but it's there in the program and the book. There's a foundational module called Building Our Inner Sovereignty. And that's about getting the awareness, right? So these are all, and we're all work in progress. I'm still doing that. So these are all things that we can build. And yes, I don't actually think this has got anything got to do with genius. It's got to do with ownership, and the tools are there for all of us. And in the TED Talk itself, the other thing that I talked about, which I think is very key, which is defining success based on your terms. Because without doing that, it is going to be challenging crafting our careers to embrace. So owning up our differences is key. So that's the first part. But if we redefine success, that's when then, the courage becomes less. I'm not saying you don't need courage, but you need less of it because now you're taking it along. You're working on both, right? Not only are you sort of owning and accepting your uniqueness and saying, these are my strengths, this is what I can do something with, but you're also working with your own mental models of what success is, so that this can actually flow into your own definitions of success. So you're journeying on a path that feels meaningful and successful to you, rather than what the world is defining as success. Are we good here, Shailesh?
Great. Thank you so much for answering my questions. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the one by Chitra next. So what approach needs to be used to help children or anyone identify what they're good at doing so that it satisfies their soul and earn them a living? Absolutely. So that's the whole idea. Now, I do want to say something about children here. I would say don't bother about children. Just let them be. Children are doing this naturally. If we just let children be, and I have one son and I have two stepsons, and I really believe, this is from experience and what I've seen, what I also believe in, let children be, they will find their way. Now, when it comes to young adults, especially, so if they want to, so first thing, they're not doing anything to another person. So when these children become young adults and when they start looking, let them do this for themselves if they find the need to do it. If they don't, let them keep walking the way they want to, and let them, journey on their path. Usually we interfere and we sort of mess it up for them. Remember the wrongness to strongness approach that's there in this. We make them believe that something is wrong. So the less we do that, the more they can actually naturally grow and thrive. Okay. The other part of Chitra's question, Chitra, are you here? Doesn't matter. I'll still. So is really that our passion can keep changing? Yes, it can. Some of the things, some will change, some will not change. And that's okay. That's okay. We can give ourselves the permission to grow. And again, one of the ways of crafting our career that I talk about in the course, in the book, and I've also, you can find this in my previous LinkedIn posts or YouTube. Look it up if you want, is about a portfolio career. So if you're someone who, you're passionate about one thing and then another thing, and that's okay, and you want to pursue multiple passions, you can do that through a portfolio career, and you can be doing more than one thing at one time, or you can also transition from one to another serially. And we have all those options left. And there will be some core things inside of us that don't change, those superpowers, and we can bring them to life and apply them in whatever we choose. And the more we are aware of those, the more we can actually almost cleverly choose contexts where we are passionate about it and we have strengths that we can bring to life, because that's really where we'll be able to, and I'm not saying that's a compulsion. It's we can also do things that we're not good at. There's nothing stopping us, but when we do things that we're good at, we'll succeed and we'll see more, we'll be able to create value. And that's when we can also earn good income. And that becomes like a superpower, right? That's what we call a career, when we make a living out of it. So the other things that we might do, we'll call them hobbies, and we can still do them as hobbies. Okay. So I'll stop sharing this and open up now for others. Yeah, Chitra is here in the chat window. Okay. Okay, people. Any other questions? Anything you want to reflect on?
Yeah, I have one question, Ramya.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is with reference to like what you said, identifying our fingerprints and using it, and also redefining success for us, so that we are able to find our own path. However, most of the time the comparison remains, either from external eyes, or we ourselves start comparing, and somehow I struggle with that. Okay, I have framed something which I want to pursue, but then all the time that keeps haunting. Okay, am I going the right path? And most of the time it comes with comparison. So that is something which I am struggling with. I thought I'll just put it up.
Yeah, and thanks for asking that. It's not just you who struggle with it. I struggle with it, and everyone struggles with it. So first thing is to not make that struggle wrong, because the part of our brain that wants to compare, that's an evolutionary script. It wants to keep us safe, right? So if you go back to our caveman's time, there were distinct advantages, and not that these advantages aren't there now. So if you can outrun the other people that you live with in a group, who has a better chance of survival? The one who runs fast, right? So you want to make sure that you're not the slowest, right? If you're stronger. So there are lots of advantages. So status for the caveman was, again, am I stronger than this person? Am I taller? Am I this? Right? So there are distinct advantages, survival-based advantages to being superior. So the part of our brain that's always on the lookout, who's doing better than me, who's running faster than me, who's bigger, stronger, more successful than me, that's not a wrong part of our brain. That has a function and it's there. Just like our stress response is not wrong. Now it's really up to us. So to not make it wrong, but not let it overshadow everything else. To be in conversation with that inner voice as well, right? And again, given at least people in our generation, my generation, I'll speak for my generation here, a lot of us have been brought up and gone to school where this has been fed a lot, right? Look at this person. So again, you've done the inner sovereignty module, neurons that fire together, wire together, the scripts that have been reinforced, right? So basically, this comparison script has been practiced now for me for like 48 years. I don't know your age, that many years. It's going to take some time. So I started working on this comparison script of mine, I think 10, 15 years ago, and I've made very good progress. Is it gone away? No. But am I as caught up with comparison now as I was 15 or 20 years ago? No. And that's the improvement. That's the ease. And then I can move in, with the other parts of myself. So that's the journey. That's the journey to recognize and to keep reminding ourselves. And the new definition of success really helps in that, because you need something to counter that voice, right? That voice that says, "Oh, that person's going ahead. That person said, that person panic, the reptilian brain." You need something else. And your new definition of success will give you that, saying, no, but this is what I have defined as success. This is that person's success. This is mine. I will do this. So these other modules will give you that inner strengthening to counter that voice. Does this help?
Thanks. Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, Preet.
Ma'am, may I? I want to add something to it. Hello, ma'am. So nice to see you again. Ma'am, what Hari has said, ma'am, we all struggle with the comparison thing. But with me, what happened is that when someone is in the same path which I want to be in future, so there I feel a lot of stress, and then there is a panic mode. But when others are going on another path and they're achieving a lot of things, and I don't worry about that, and I'm very happy for them. But it only happens that what I have thought for myself and they are getting it. So then there is a panic. And I remember you telling in the session of inner sovereignty that if someone is in that space, we should
Convert
feel
it
happy for them.
inspiration.
Yes.
Yes.
So I do that often, but ma'am, sometimes it becomes a bit difficult to handle.
It does. It does. And I want to tell you something here. This is where we want to, by the way, I'm writing a next book. The book that I'm writing on now is
Waiting, ma'am.
about it's about I don't want to give too much away, but actually a part of it involves distancing ourselves from social media. Not removing it completely, but distancing it. So I personally went on I think 8 months sabbatical from social media, and now I've come back only to LinkedIn. I've not gone back to Instagram and Facebook. And this is one of the reasons. No matter how much inner work we do, the basic scripts are there. And one of the things that social media, go back to the caveman's time again, or even our slow village life, right? Early civilization and all. What is the kind of data that meets our brain? One person who's doing way better than you in exactly the thing that you want to do. You can deal with it. Okay, a little bit of jealousy, deal with it. Try to convert it into inspiration. Do it. You have the time and space, right? You can think. Now social media is flashing. And then our brain goes into oh my God, I'm in danger, because it's a survival fear, right? And once a survival fear comes, the reptilian brain is in control. Now, the reptilian brain is not going to be able to help you do this. No, let's convert this, this feeling of, oh my God, why are they ahead, into inspiration? Because it's not the prefrontal lobes. So we're almost in this constant hijack. It's too much to deal with. And no matter what field you're in, I'll tell you, social media will customize. That's how algorithms work. So for me, they'll show me all people who are like me, right? So Sonali, for you, your feed will be showing you successful people who are sort of just, doing exactly the kind of things that you're doing. So that's a lot for our brains to handle with. So there are, of course, other reasons to distance ourselves. But again, for this comparison and for this kind of hijack, this is the only solution that I know. Create a little bit of breathing space for our brain, and we'll all be able to do the reframes beyond that. You know the science. I know, right? I know,
I understand that. But ma'am, time and again, I face the same challenge.
Yeah. So
like what you said, even I myself distance myself for a few days. Suppose for LinkedIn itself, I'm also very active on LinkedIn only, not on Facebook and Insta. But when you start showing, getting post of many professors doing so well, maybe writing paper, maybe
How
doing some
often
work.
do you go on LinkedIn? Don't go very often. Don't go
Yes.
very often. I'm trying to, and I'm really trying to restrict myself to once or twice a week. So figure out the rhythm that works with you, right? I've deleted it from my phone. You have to protect your brain from the feeds that are hijacking.
Ma'am, what if, like, when you are joining these kind of social media platform, maybe you want to get updated as what is going in the field. So if we restrict ourselves, that is like you're not watching what they are doing. So you're living in your shell. You don't understand what is
So don't
going in the field.
don't put yourself in a shell. So it's a bit like if you want to watch the news. And I think, we talked about this also when we look at the positive and negative Tetris effect, right? If you're always watching negative news, no, it's not going to work for you. You may want to say, okay, I'm going to watch news for this much, whether it's half an hour a day, whether it's 10 minutes a day, you decide, 1 hour a day, whatever, but not all the time, not continuously. Same thing. Go on social media, engage, look at what's happening. Don't be in a shell, but bucket it out so
Limit
that
myself.
there's enough rest and relaxation time for your being so that you can actually create from a place of joy, calm, peace, not worrying too much about other people are doing, because that's where you'll be able to create and flow and work.
And on that, again, I have to decide what suits me and what is comfortable for me.
Trial and
Then.
error. Trial and error. Just,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pratibha, yes.
Actually, to Preeti, I wanted to add that, in biological sciences, there's something called semi-permeability. So you're very selective about what you're allowing in and keeping out. And because I'm reading on these lines these days, your body tells you if something makes it feel like your bile levels are rising, your acidity is going up, just stay away from it, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, our body tells us the first
Right.
indicator of the fight or
Yeah,
flight.
that's the first
And
indication. So, yes, you have to be very mindful of how your body reacts to things and just, act accordingly, I would
And
say.
each of our bodies are different, okay? So for
Yeah.
my son, it's sweaty palms. I don't sweat at all. I mean, now with menopause, I'm sweating, but that's different kind of hot flash sweat. So I don't sweat due to stress, but my stomach.
You get a cold
I'm
sweat
like,
in the stomach or you're clenching.
yeah. So each of us will have certain organs. I know people who yeah, the breathing is the first
For
indicator.
me, my brain tells me, here we go again.
Yeah.
So I try and stop the going.
Okay, I see two raised hands. Gauri. Yeah. Pratik.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Ramya. So
Yes.
I don't have a
Come on screen.
question, but this
Come
is
on.
more of a reflection.
Sure.
Okay, so I just like flipping dosas for the family. Uh, but yeah, so like when I was going through your TED talk, I also realized how sometimes like I have changed the environment I'm in because I used to hear, oh, you're so low on energy. But then, with this different set of people, it was, oh, you have a calming aura. Similarly, from being told you have very high, expectations from people around you in terms of performance, just like being in a high performance team. Uh, so yeah, I think changing the atmosphere you're in. And the other thing is, this also kind of applies to personal lives where, like an ex-boyfriend of mine, I remember he told me, oh, you are the kind of person who wants each day to be special. And I was like, so what's wrong with that? So again,
Yeah.
being with the right person who kind of values that. So yeah, that was like the reflection I had, which I wanted to share with everyone.
Thank you, Gauri. That's so beautiful, right? It almost reminds me of the ugly duckling story, the first part of yours. If you're familiar with that, there's a baby swan, I think, a swan that's brought up with ducklings. And yeah, so the they wouldn't be able to appreciate. And
Yeah, he was just in the wrong crowd, so just finding his own crowd
yeah,
helped.
yeah, lot. Sonali?
Yeah, hi Ramya.
Hello.
So, yeah. So I had actually 4 questions, but then I also remembered when I was jotting down my questions that I had attended your portfolio career workshop in 2023.
Mhm.
And I think I'll have to revise my notes again because some of these questions would be addressed over there. But yeah, one question I had, the title of your video had said your difference isn't a flaw, it's a superpower. Now it works very well when the type of examples you gave of yourself as a young kid and, youngsters. Um, all of us, at least who are here in this session today, are probably in a mid-career or midlife situation, going through midlife crisis, some of us. And throughout all these decades, at least personally for me, a lot of my traits which I had as a kid, which obviously I had heard comments from, oh, you are so quiet, or you're so studious, you keep reading books all the time, and blah, 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 stuff like that. 3 years of college, another college, jobs, multiple jobs, moving around and everything. All these situations, jobs, education, peers, parents, teachers, bosses, all these external factors trying to conform to their expectations or it's not even expectations. It is like when we are growing up, that comes across as the natural thing to do, that we should be networking more or be more outgoing and stuff like that. So it obviously changes us to some extent from what we were originally or what our inherent traits were, our uniqueness was. So at this point of time, obviously, I have probably either lost in touch with myself or who I really am. It is buried. I can visualize it as something which is in its core, which
Very.
has been buried by layers of expectations and
That's the perfect visualization, Sonali. So it's not gone anywhere.
yeah,
It's been buried, right? And this
yeah, and
journey of reclaiming it, converting it, owning it into your superpower is going beyond that. And you know what has buried it in our psyche, in our inner world? It's the judgments. Because those people aren't powerful, right? Now we're not really afraid that our father will say this, but like they can't really drag us. We're not little kids. But it's these internalized voices that it's good, it's bad, it's dangerous, this makes me a good girl, this will get me into trouble, this is shameful, this is this. All these voices now, it's the buried in our own heads with these voices. That is the process of unconditioning. So that's why, step 2, if you remember in the talk, is non-judgment. And the only way to get past this burying is non-judgment. And what is judgment? Judgment is anywhere we've decided anything is good, bad, right, wrong. So, no, it's neither good, neither bad, neither right, neither wrong. It just is. So one of the things, and I really learned this a long way, I will say, because if we try to say this is good, we again get into battle. So for me, talking so much is not good, it's not bad, it's not right, it's not wrong. Even today, I can use it in a way that's very wrong and very bad and very destructive. But I can also use it in this way. So now I'm not really in battle against all those forces and people who told me it is only bad or only wrong or something like that. I'm thinking, hey, your way, oh, that was also fine. But now I'm like, it's just neutral. It's just a capacity, just a potency. Now, as an adult, I will decide how I will use it. And that is the process of reclaiming it.
how do you do it say, suppose I start doing this from tonight, I decide from tomorrow, or rather from tonight itself, I start working on trying to remove the layers of the webs of these expectations and get clarity. Uh, what works? Journaling, questioning, talking to somebody, what really works?
Yes. So I'm so glad you asked that. There are many ways, and I sort of usually don't tell people this is the only way because there are alternate ways, but I'll tell you some of the ways that I've practiced. So just journaling works. So if all you want to do is journal, I know people who just journal and it also works. But I personally also use meditation. I also use breath work. I use tools from a modality called access consciousness, where it's an energy, sort of it uses energy practices. But I don't ever want to say that you have to only use that tool. I don't frequently use hypnotherapy, but I did work with a therapist who used hypnotherapy on me. And previously in my life, I've done use self hypnotherapy, right? But now I just prefer meditation and I love journaling. I'm back to journaling a lot currently. So it's a different. So there are tools, and you can just look up tools. Now you have ChatGPT. Ask for tools to work with our belief systems, judgments, subconscious mind. Okay, and there will be tools even beyond the ones that I've listed here. So there's art therapy, there's movement therapy, there are somatic practices. So yeah, all different ways of
Got it.
working with our conditioning.
Okay.
Okay.
One more question was, one more question was that our differences make us, because we are at the one end of the bell curve, it's a lonely place, the two ends of the bell curve, right? And if when we are trying to conform, obviously everyone around us would be the same, like,
So
because we are conforming.
finding and creating new tribes, essential. Remember the ugly
Okay,
thing? Yeah. So owning it, and we are social creatures. Find the new tribes, find the new people.
we got it. Got it. Thanks a lot.
Welcome. Okay, people, we'll take one last question. I think Shailesh has his hand up. And
Yes.
this call will end in 40 minutes. Since I'm not doing private coaching, I have a free account. So let's take this question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you again. Just extending the previous question which Dr. Preeti was asking. So let's say I go to LinkedIn and sometimes this news comes like someone has posted that, okay, they got a funding, okay, my peer or someone who I know. And then like the heart starts racing and then tells that, okay, you are totally doing a worthless stuff right now. Okay, so that kind of a thing. So how to deal with those? Similarly, like some colleague in some part of the world gets promoted in the same organization, right? And then you say, oh man, like now you are behind by ages.
Voice is it. So this thing, you're doing a worthless thing, you're not good enough. Whose voice is it? We call it the inner critic.
Right.
Okay, so get my book. I didn't do this to
I have I have your book. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So then there's a chapter there that talks about the inner critic.
Right.
Work on that.
Okay.
So it's usually an internalized voice of a parent or someone who's told us that if someone else is doing better than you means I'm worthless, right? It's not true. We can question it, but we deal with it. So there are 8 ways of dealing with the inner critic voice in the book. So you don't need all 8, you need one. Experiment and find one that works for you and just use that one.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay.
Ramya,
Yes.
I wanted to add one thing because I'm dealing with words these days also. It's the connotation, it's the memory and the meaning that we carry with us. And if you can change the meaning, the word itself doesn't need to change really.
Yeah.
I'm still living with my family and it's not the best environment a lot of times. So my dad loves to use the word gobar for me. And I'm like, why is that such an insult? It fertilizes everything.
Organic manure, absolutely.
Right? The other day, my mom called me for Sunday, and I'm
Sorry.
like,
You just want to add in because you're talking about techniques. NLP is another technique that you can use, and NLP actually does a lot of these. What meaning are you giving words? Yeah.
So she called me for Sunday, and the context was so funny because we were like, we're trying to convince a 3-year-old to finish his milk.
Yes.
Right? When we're making a joke out of it, and then everybody's drinking tea, and she's like, "Bua kya peeti hai?" And I'm like, "I'm running my own race. मैं coffee पीती हूँ." And my mom had to let out, "Oh, she's a fisaddi." And I'm like,
Absolutely.
"Okay, I'm behind whom? मैं किसके पीछे हूँ यार?"
Absolutely. And
So sometimes you have to just change that the
and
context.
that is reframing, right? So, and in fact, I'm just actually going to bring this all in so that we can end. And thank you, Pratibha, for that. And that's why we redefine success. The word success itself means something, right? Redefine failure. What does failure mean? Redefine work. What does work mean? Redefine money. What does money mean, right? So we are working with these constructs, with the meanings, with the associations that our brain has picked up, and creating freedom around the ones that are used most frequently. And yes, if it's Fisardi or something else that someone's using, redefine it for yourself so that when you use that, it will affect you. Yeah.
My own batchmate, right? She is professor here in a reputed institution here in India, and she's also got a chair at
She
Oxford.
might watch this. Pratibha, this will go on YouTube.
Awesome. But my thing is, I wake up with her updates and I'm like, good, she's having a good time.
Good for you and good for her. Yes. Okay. Okay, everyone. We'll call it.
Ma'am, one last thing, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, you promised to have a group session for the book reading one. So
Yes.
we voted also for that, ma'am, and I'm waiting for that
Are you
also.
waiting for that? Yes, I'm so sorry. So I've been insanely busy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do, I'll turn this into a monthly series. Okay. So even whether people have read the book, not read the book, whatever, instead of going chapter, we'll just do a monthly Q&A on the same group and ask for questions in advance as much as possible. And we'll do this connect.
Okay, thank
You
you.
read my mind. I was just thinking about that. Came today and said it's going to be good too. Yeah, because I think it's a journey. And as people start working through, more things will come up. So it'll be nice to do a once a month connect. Done.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. And have a good night. See you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.